Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Academic John, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing you the various question types in your SAT Math section. Understanding these question types will position you for a perfect score. So let's get right into it. You have to understand that in the SAT Math section, it's a time test, and it is divided into two modules. These modules each contain 22 questions, which are adaptive in style. What that means is that the more questions you answer correctly, the more difficult the subsequent questions become, and the, the better based on your performance in the first module, you're going to get either a harder second module or an easier second module. All right, but you have to understand that the time is the same whether you have a harder module or an easier module. You should not be afraid that you have a harder module as a second module. As a matter of fact, it's a good sign. It means you've done very well in your first module. That's why they are giving you a more difficult second module. Meanwhile, you should not get discouraged if you have an easier second module. Although it means you didn't do so well in your first module, but it's an opportunity for you to do even better and recover your lost points. Now, each module is allocated 35 minutes. And remember I said the SAT Math section is adaptive in style. What that means is you should spend lesser time in your first set of questions because obviously they are easier questions. So you would have saved yourself more time for the harder questions that will take you longer time to solve. Now, looking at the questions and timing generally, you have an average of 1.59 minutes, which is roughly about 1 minute 35 seconds to your questions. I recommend for the first set of 10 to 15 questions in the SAT Math section, for the first section for the first module, of course, that you use roughly about 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds to do each of those questions. So you save yourself enough time to focus on the remaining, say, 7 questions, which obviously are going to be more difficult. Not necessarily, but mostly more difficult. So you want to plan your time very well, and with the content I'll be posting on this channel, you will be greatly positioned to get a perfect score in your SAT Math section. I have taken a lot of tests, I've taught a lot of people, and perfect score in your math section is just something very much attainable. So just stick to our content, to my content in this channel. If you've not subscribed, do that right now. If you've not liked this video, go ahead and do that right now. You can leave comments and questions for me, and do well to also share with your friends. All right, so let's go to the next thing in this video, which are the sections or the various question types in the math section of the SAT. Now, the first question type you're going to encounter in your math SAT is the algebra. This is the first section you're going to encounter in your math SAT. And what's algebra about? It tests the questions on algebra, just basically tests you on your understanding of linear relationships. And some of the knowledge and skills tested are basically equations, expressions, and inequalities in one or two variables, but linear. So you're not going to see anything like squares, cubes, fourth quadratic equations, and all of that. You're not going to see them in this particular question type. Meanwhile, this question type occupies about 35% of the module. So these are very easy questions that cover 35% of the module. So these are easy points that are up for grab if you learn the necessary skills and you do sufficient practice, of course. So 13 to 15 questions up for grabs, 35% of the test, right? So next question type is the advanced math. Now, while the algebra tests your understanding of linear relationships, advanced math question type tests your understanding of non-linear relationships. And nonlinear relationships are things like equivalent expressions, nonlinear equations in one or two variables, talking about things like quadratic equations, cubic equations, and all of that, and roots, right? We also have nonlinear functions, things like exponential functions, logarithmic functions. Although SAT rarely brings question from logarithms, but yeah, you're going to have questions, indical equations, and all of that. Some nonlinear functions though. And again, this question type occupies 35% of the module. And speaking generally now, your math section of the SAT, you're going to be having roughly 13 to 15 questions. So imagine just being focused on algebra and advanced math. That's you already covering 70% of the test. 70% of the test, and that's huge, right? So algebra and advanced math together cover 70% of the SAT math section, right? So this puts an emphasis on these two question types. You have to put in your best. You have to put in your best foot forward, understand all the concepts in these two uh, question types. But of course, we're aiming for a perfect score, so we'll not just rest our case on these two. Let's look at the third question type you're going to encounter on the SAT math section, and it is problem solving and data analysis. Problem solving and data analysis. And some of the skills that will be tested in this question type include ratios, rates, proportional relationship, and units. Basically, conversions. Right. You also have percentages. You have basic statistics, mean, median, mode, range, and interquartile range. You also have graphs, charts, right, and inferences. Basically, you have probability, um, unconditional probability. You have questions where claims will be made, and you are expected to um, to observe and to interpret the outcome of those claims. So these are just problems that really engages your creativity for problem solving and data analysis. And these questions are usually 5 to 7 in the entire test, in the entire math section. So, and they occupy just about 15% of the entire math section. So you're not going to have a lot of questions from this um, question type. But of course, you have to be prepared because we are aiming for a perfect score. Now, the last question type you're going to encounter in the math section are questions coming from geometry and trigonometry. Now, the skills you'll be tested on under this question type include perimeter, area, and volume, basically for 2D shapes and 3D figures. That's what we're going to be dealing with in this particular topic. Then you also have lines, angles, and triangles. So you have to know the relationship between your angles, lines, um, and triangles. I mean, this video is just to show you the various question types. So I don't want to go deep into the details, but more videos will be available on this channel where each of these topics will be explained in depth, and there will be a lot of practice questions on it. And by the time we are able to cover everything, you would see no reason to get anything less than a perfect score. Right. Now, the next skill you would need um, in this question type is skill on dealing with right angle triangles and trigonometry. Basically, your sine, your cosine, and your tangent. Right. Also, Pythagoras theorem, very important. Right. And of course, you also be tested on circles, circumference area, circumscribed circle, inscribed circles, and all of that. So these are the various question types you're going to encounter in your SAT, and these are the various skills that will be tested in the SAT math section. You've been given all the question types. You've been given all the topics and skills that will be tested. It now comes down to one thing: practice and having the right learning tool, the right practice tool. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that right now. Like the video and share with your friends. If you have any questions or anything you want to let me know, you can type it right in the comment box as I bring more content on acing the SAT math section your way. Thank you, and until next time, bye.